Now, don't judge me, but I was walking home from a place, it's Sunday, and I walked by a garbage bin. And I'm not the type that goes through garbage bins, but when there's something laying right on the top, when I was little, these dolls were very, very popular. And, people were standing in line and fighting each other at the toy store to get them. Then, of course, like all these fads, they wear off. But anyway, so I saw this doll there. Apparently someone had moved out and thrown out a bunch of old things. I'll show you it once I wash her in the washing machine. And if that doesn't work, we'll try plan B. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'll have to at some point. So a week later, by the way, I had my nails done last weekend. I don't know if you... Oh, I think I already had them done when you last saw me. Okay, so a week later, I threw her in the washing machine twice on just the regular cycle. And she's stained. She doesn't smell bad or anything. But now I'm calling her a she. I realize that it's an inanimate object. It's just a toy. But, these dolls, they were given personalities. If you were alive back then in the 80s, and I was a grown-up. I think I was in my early 20s or late teens. But these dolls were just... Now, it's been a week since I last filmed, but I think I mentioned that these dolls were the craze, and people, they're called Cabbage Patch dolls, and they came with adoption papers that you sent in, and then you would be on this. There were groups of people who would get together with their dolls, adult people, these were adults, and they just got all, into it. And each doll was the selling point. I'm not being, I just want to show you here. This was the proof that it was original. This was the original doll. You can see the date there. I guess you can't. It's 1985. It shows 85, that this was a doll made in 1985. And it went on through, 86, 87, about that time. It was a few years. They super were popular early on, and then over time the fad wore out, and there were other fads that came in. But so people would adopt them, in quotes, and send in the adoption papers to the company to show who the owners were. And then of course now they had your address. We didn't have internet back then, so they'd be sending you, of course, newsletters and junk mail, and selling you the clothes and all the other stuff. So it was part of the marketing thing. But anyway, the people who adopted the dolls felt like they were a group, and sometimes they'd get together. You'd see people in supermarkets, and the doll would be in the cart, in the baby seat. It's sort of like people would attach emotion to these dolls as if they were real, and it was the thing for a while. And I never bought one because they were super expensive back then. Now look at this. I found they were super expensive. No one could find them back then, and now you find them in the garbage can. So that shows you how fads are. So anyway, what I'm going to do is, she's stained, but I really don't want to remake. First of all, it's not that easy. I mean, even though it's just a simple, fabric, stuffed fabric, that's what her body's made of, but it's not that easy to recreate the body exactly as it looks here. It makes it, this kind of looks more realistic. Plus, then the original body will be gone, but this is just stained. It's not dirty anymore. What I'm going to do is, well, I'll just show you what I'm going to do next. I'm going to probably pass a cotton ball with alcohol over her face and see if that gets this staining off at least. Let's try that. Okay, now let's see here. So I have cotton balls, and I brought alcohol. Let's see, I should turn this off. 1 second, it's making noise. I've got my computer on, this laptop. I'm gonna turn it off. Maybe because it makes noise. That's probably messing up the Yes. First I gotta type in my password because it went into the screen lock. And now I will say, turn off the computer, shut down. So that's shutting down. In the meantime, meanwhile, all right. Let's see. I'm gonna not edit this video. Oh, maybe I will. I always end up editing. Okay. So first we'll try alcohol. Is that even on? If the alcohol doesn't work, what I'm going to do is try nail polish remover. But since I just had my nails done a week ago, they're acrylic nails. See? But they have nail polish on the top, so I don't want to use nail polish remover because it'll mess up my nails. You know, I'll have to repaint them. But I don't, it seems to be working somewhat. Probably nail polish remover would get it off quicker, but then I wonder if that would ruin up there. But we'll see. The acrylic nails so far, I like them. Wow. I like them, the fact that I can do everything and nothing breaks, because they're really hard. But my problem is I can't really, they're thicker than a real nail. So I can't like do things that I used to be able to do. And at work I'm making so many typos because, you know, there's that extra nail now. So I used to type more accurately, and now I got to go back and correct everything. And yeah, there's autocorrect, but yes, I don't use autocorrect because I usually don't make mistakes. But even if I do make mistakes, I don't trust the autocorrect because sometimes it corrects wrong and you tend to get lazy about proofreading. So I don't have autocorrect at work. I don't have it on. It exists. I could use it, but I turn it off. Okay, this is actually working. It's getting the stain out, but it's not working as quickly as I guess I'm kind of lazy. Actually, this is soft. The alcohol is softening up it's probably alcohol is just a little less strong than nail polish remover, but I'm feeling my nails getting kind of sticky. So it's probably messing up my nails anyway, so in that case, maybe I may as well just try the nail polish remover. But it is getting the dirt off a little bit better. You know, maybe we could just... And then I'll see if I could do something. Yeah, it's messing him up. Oh, bummer. I'm going to have to redo them. Oh, well. Then I may as well try the nail polish remover. Here, get a cotton ball. There we go. I'll just paint my nails. Well, that'll give me an excuse to do a nail painting video. So, I hope it doesn't, I'm afraid to put it in her eye because I'm afraid it's gonna, oh, too late, I already did it. But, I don't want her eyes to get ruined, you know, the paint, but these seem pretty sturdy, the paint and you know, they're pretty well made, obviously, from all those years ago. I'm not going to do her eyes anymore, though, because it kind of helped. But I don't want to push my luck. You know, it's getting a little bit of the stain off of her face, but I don't think she'll ever be in perfect condition. Now, I have one of these up north at my parents' house, and because when I was grown up, but I won one of these in a contest when they stopped being so popular anymore. They were still kind of popular, but they were already starting to go out of style a little bit. It was, I remember I was in college at that point, or no, it was the year after I graduated high school. It was that summer. I entered a raffle, and the prize was a Cabbage Patch doll. So I actually have one. I never win anything, but I won that raffle. So I won a Cabbage Patch doll. And that one had brown hair and blue eyes. It was a girl also. It is a girl. So, you know, I won it, and that's it. And I never sent in the adoption papers and all that other stuff. But, you know, she sat on my bed at college. I figured, I'll take her to college just to, I don't know why I did. So she was in my college bed for 4 years, my dorm room. Then I, after college, went back home for a while, and I just left her there, and she just stayed. No one ever really did anything with her. She just always sat around. So she's in really good condition. Clean. She's probably a little dusty, and still up there in one of my parents' guest rooms, sitting on a bed up there. So I'll clean this one up, and maybe I'll just put them together. They've had obviously very different lives. This one must have belonged to a child, because it's really used. It's really used up, and she's got magic marker lines on her face. I wonder, will it get too blurry? Let me see. I'll get a close-up here. You see those on her face? Let me get closer. So this camera just doesn't really focus very well, or maybe I just don't know how to use it, but I'm trying to show you she's got magic marker lines. There's a purple one, and there's some green ones here. There you go. See the green. So, I believe she must have belonged to a little child or something who got a lot of use out of her and played with her, and then I guess they moved away, and the mother of the child, I'm just making this all up, but I'm assuming, said this doll is filthy, we gotta move, there's too much stuff, and she probably just threw it out, or who knows. Or maybe the child grew up and, no one, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But look at her smiling. We tend to attach emotion to inanimate things, and I guess since this is something that I lived through, the whole fad, it's kind of sad how people used to treat them as if they were human, and now they just throw them in garbage bins. But obviously it's not anything that feels. We know it's a toy, but those faces, they made them so cute that I don't know. Okay. So, but this is actually not really cleaning up too well either. It's a little bit cleaner than it was. Where's the top to this? I can't even find the top now. It's going to evaporate. Oh, it's the wrong top. Oh, come on. Oh, here it is. Okay. It's my mother's nail polish remover. Let's try the alcohol again. So I don't know how well we're going to do with this. I'm going to get a little more aggressive now with the cleaning, but I can tell those magic marker stains are there to stay too. So, she's not going to ever be probably as new, but anyway, that's what I'm going to do, but I'll do that a little later. And my next plan is I'm going to clean her face better later. Not necessarily on camera. It might get too boring. My next plan is to, when I washed her, I'm going to put the top here because this evaporates. When I washed her, this is acrylic yarn, which is good because that doesn't mat. Acrylic fibers don't mat up like if they would have been wool. But I had to take her braids out so that she'd get washed really good. She's got these hitchhikers in there. Those things in the grass, you walk through the grass and they get, they stick to you. So I'll pull those out and kind of make her hair a little bit straighter again to put her braids back in. And you see, when they made her, they obviously were planning to give her braids because there's whole sections that are bald, because when her hair's in braids, that gets covered up. So I'll just put them here and then throw them out at the end. So as I'm straightening out her yarns, I'll pull out the hitchhikers. So that might take a while. And I know this is supposed to be ASMR video, but it might get boring to just watch me pulling her yarn hair. But she's really not. She's looking a little better, but I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping she'd look better after I gave her a wash. I washed her twice. The first time, actually, I think I did the gentle cycle. But then when I realized how kind of stained she still was, I put her again in the normal cycle. And she's been sitting out for a week drying. I didn't put her in the dryer. So now she's probably dry in the middle too. She feels dry. I don't know if deep inside the stuffing is wet, but I don't think so. It's pretty dry in here because I have a dehumidifier. So that helped, I'm sure. Alright, so as we straighten her hair, we'll pull out any hitchhikers that we may find. And I'm always thinking that thing isn't running. I hope it is. It is. I wonder if I'm on camera now. Okay. Meanwhile, I guess I could... What else happened interesting this week? I did my nails. I mean, nothing too interesting. But her hair looks nice and clean, I guess, because it's been covered up all these years. So, what else? I went to a Halloween party on last Saturday after I had my nails done. I went to a Halloween party. I went dressed as a French maid. I'll put up. Oh, I could put pictures of that up. And so, so that was fun. I went to the same cafe where I go for my open source meetings. I'm getting into open source software. It's really interesting. Linux, for example, is open source software. It's free, you know, and nobody's making billions of dollars off it. And you can sell versions of Linux if you decide to. Oh, what happened? Here it is. I want to keep my hitchhikers in one place. It's open source software. It's so interesting how it works. You can still make money off it by programming your own version of Linux, for example. Or an application, but it's just a little more human, you know. It's not like all corporate and people getting billions off it, and it's sort of an even playing field for anyone. And Ubuntu is one of the distros that is popular. That's the one I use, but it's hard to explain. I didn't even know what this was all about until I went to one of these open source meetings just out of curiosity once, and then I started realizing more about it. But that first meeting or two, I didn't even know what the heck we were talking about. I just thought it was kind of cool going, and some of the stuff I understood. And then I got it. I started looking more about it on the internet, and I saw a really good, I'll put a link below, I saw a really good informational video about it. The guy explained really in layman's terms what open source software is all about, and Linux, and oh, and here's a really wild thing that happened. Okay, so I got into Linux, and so I started doing all this research online, and Linus Torvalds is the gentleman who invented the original Linux software. So that was kind of interesting. And then, you know, on YouTube, when you look at one video, the videos on the side are related. So somehow I happened upon this other guy called Richard Stallman, who's like an open source advocate. He's an activist for open source software and freedom of internet and all this stuff. And then I went to the Halloween party. It's a group I found from meetup.com. And we started talking, and it was in that cafe where I go to the Linux meetings. So I mentioned, oh yeah, I come here all the time because sometimes they have the open source software meetings and the hackers meetings. And she said, oh, I have a cousin who's very famous into open source software, you know, and blah, blah, blah. We started chit-chatting. She said, And she said, yeah, my cousin's name is Richard Stallman. That she is the cousin of the guy, you know. That it's complete coincidence. I mean, she wasn't even at that cafe because of open source software. She was there organizing this Halloween party. So it turned out that I met the cousin of this famous man that knows all about open source software. And he's an activist. So this is getting tedious. Oh, goodness. It almost feels like I have to, I think I have a clip I could kind of, oh, and at that Halloween party, I won this spider, and I won this spider too. Oh, I have a little phone here that nobody ever uses. I'm sure that's a telemarketer. Well, let me answer. See if it's a telemarketer, or sometimes they take surveys. Let's see. Hello? Hello? Yes? Good morning. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Probably. When is voting? Is it November 5th? Tuesday. Okay. I wonder if I can vote early, or... Oh, do they have voting this weekend? Maybe. Oh, I'll find out about it. Yeah, because I'll be out. No. Should I look on the internet? Oh, okay, yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. 8683. Okay. Now that was about voting for a hospital that they're going to be modernizing. And actually, it's funny how things all tie in together unexpectedly. But the hospital, it's the public hospital of this where I live. The gentleman that I was kind of seeing casually, that we don't see each other anymore, was a lawyer for for this hospital. It's a government, run something. It's a public hospital, so what a coincidence. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. All right, so we've fixed this. Let me see here. Now she's got a lot of junk in her hair. It's so gross. It's kind of yucky, poor thing. But she'll look better. But she's not going to look good. I wonder if I could dye this. It probably used to be brighter color, But considering she's been, really used up a lot by some little girl probably, played with her a lot. She's still in good condition. Well, sturdy, pretty sturdy. Anyway, the whole video is not gonna be me doing her hair. I'm just doing a little of this, and I'm a very impatient ASMRist. I just I guess I should come to the realization that, I like to ramble. I think I'm probably gonna mostly do rambling videos, and I know I'll probably lose some subscribers, but you gotta kind of do what you feel like doing, maybe, So there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm just not gonna film the whole thing, and then we'll see what the next step is going to be. Okay, everybody. Well, there she is. I think I'll just leave it at that. I cleaned up her face a little more. You can see with the alcohol. You can really notice the magic marker stains there, and you know, her body's a little stained up, but I just finished her up, and I decided to leave her hair just in a ponytail. Just, you know, it covers up the bald spots. Sorry, I don't mean to be grabbing her by her hair, but you know, I pulled all the hair up on top of her head. I thought it looked kind of cute like that, so I think I'll just leave it like that. She looks happier, maybe a little bit. And I did a little more research online since we were, you know, on the subject of the Cabbage Patch doll, and there was one thing you should look at if you are gonna, you know, go to a shop or something like buy these used dolls, to find out each head has a different type of mold, and not each head, but they come in different types. So this is mold number, it says number 2, which was one of the first head molds that, you know, so this is about 1985, which actually we already knew that because that's what it says on her signature. Xavier Roberts was the designer of this, the original dolls, which were soft sculpted dolls. Then a company called Coleco was the first company to mass produce these. This is all stuff I just learned. I mean, I knew it from the point where they were mass produced. I wasn't aware necessarily of the first ones. It was just a small little business that Xavier Roberts had, where he would hand make the dolls in the beginning, and then they became popular, and then a big company bought the name and started mass producing. So this was one of the first mass produced, one of them actually. The mass producing started around 1980. That's my dehumidifier, 1982 or 83. So these are one of the first mass produced ones, and now they even produce them still today. I just found out there's actually a website for people who are still into it, or I guess the new generations, but it's not what it was. There she is. So maybe someday I'll put her together with the other one that I have up north, and you know, they'll be like sisters. Thanks for watching.